Indians fever, be a believer in the Rizzo Show starts now, baby.
The Hard Rock Rocksino Northfield Park presents The Rizzo Show. And now your host, Tony Rizzo.
Hey, ho, ho, ho. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the... Oh, that's why they handed those out at the Browns game today. I was wondering what those were for. Folks, welcome to the Hunt for October edition of the Rizzo Show. Joining me, my partner, internet sensation, our resident comedian, Mike Polk Jr. Thank goodness, Michael, for the Indians and the Cavs. And we are going to talk tribe tonight. Michael, I tweeted this today. I thank the Indians for what I thought, folks, was one of the greatest regular seasons we have ever had. I mean, how much fun was that? The 22-game win streak, everything that happened, clinching in the playoffs. I just wanted to thank them. It was tremendous.
Sincerely, honestly, and now more than ever, obviously, considering what we're looking at as a football town right now. It was so great for the city. It was so great to be. I was in a number of those streak games, and just the whole energy and the vibe that they brought to the city. So I agree. Thank you very much, and let's keep it going.
Well, they were 25-4 in September. Is this the best Indians team you've ever seen?
I don't know if it's the best Indians. I mean, I guess so. I guess they probably are. And
right.
I mean, I'm trying to think of those 90s teams, but this team is just so deep, Tony. That's what I love. Like, we were complaining about, like, some of the people that we have to make decisions about on this roster. Like, these are some of our all-stars from the past, and now we're figuring out whether or not they're going to have room on the playoff roster. That's a good position to be in.
Well, there were people earlier today from the Rizzo Show, our producer Katie, complaining about playing Kipnis in center field. And I said, what problems to have?
Right.
Wow, we can't get Kipnis in the infield because there's too many MVP candidates right now in the infield. If that's your biggest concern is where Kipnis is going to play, folks, it's going to be magic.
It's a nice problem to have.
All right, now they must play the waiting game as the Indians will either host the Yankees or the Twins on Thursday. I am hearing if it's the Twins, it'll be a 4:30 game. But if it's the Yankees, it'll be in prime time. Mike, is there any team there? Do you have a preference as to which one?
I'd rather play the Twins. I just think we have a better history against them, and I'm comfortable playing either of those teams, but just based on history,
I want the Skanky.
I know you do.
Because I know we'll beat them.
I want the path of least resistance.
Okay, let's take a look at the first round. If we check this out, oh, look at that. Game 1 Thursday, Game 2 Friday, then Game 3 Sunday. Game 4 will be Monday. We won't need Game 5. Oh, I am so cocky.
You are right now.
I am cocky Cleveland right now. Game 5 would be Wednesday back in Cleveland. We're on the road Sunday and Monday. Meanwhile, Indians manager Terry Francona, boy, what a season it has been for Tito.
Yeah.
Reflected on the season, but he knows there are plenty more obstacles to come.
For whatever reason, it took us a while to get, whether it's your rhythm, whether it's your footing, whatever it is. But once they did, it's like they never took their foot off the gas. And I think there were times where maybe people would question, like, okay, because there were opportunities for it to happen, and they just kept playing. And we're talking about today to the staff. As a staff, we're really proud of these guys.
I remember, too, Tito had some health issues that he has been able to overcome, and it's been a magical year. He has never had, folks, he's never managed a team that won 100 games. So the Indians' 102 games is the high mark in his career. He'll never admit this, but I would love to find out where this Indian team ranks with the ones that he's won World Series with.
And you can't overstate how important that tone that you just saw him using right there is, because he has that same tone if they're on a 4-game losing streak, if he's sick for 2 days and hasn't been anywhere, if they're on a winning streak, it doesn't matter. You can't say enough about having that even-handed, amazing manager at the helm of this team.
Well, we don't know the opponent, but we know the Indians' Game 1 starter, and that is Corey Kluber. Mike, what a season it has been for Corey Kluber. He's a lock, folks, for the Cy Young Award, believe me. But if you know Corey Kluber, we know this. And look at the numbers. Chris Sale is probably his closest, biggest competitor, but he won the ERA title at 2.25. Let me say, earned run average over 9 innings in the American League of 2.25. That is unheard of. 18-4 doesn't even tell the story.
Right.
He probably should have been 20-2,
right,
to be honest. I could say, for me, probably the best season I've ever seen for an Indian starter.
Yeah, he was absolutely ridiculous and lights out, and he has that same demeanor all the time. I mean, that's how electric he gets, and that's how he's very hard to take off of his game because he just has that even, balanced temper. And
if you know him, he doesn't care about the Cy Young Award.
No.
He wants to win the World Series. Folks, the Indians, and I go back to that fateful night last October, or was it even November, where we left Progressive Field and we all felt down. I think that the Indians, right then and there, decided they were going to go back to the World Series. I know they still have a long way to go. Speaking of pitchers, the Indians have some question marks as far as the postseason roster goes, one of which is Danny Salazar. Threw very well in his last outing, but does he make the roster? I don't think he'll make the rotation. I know that, at least not in the first series. Do you think he deserves a spot?
I think that it's going to come down to what they need as far as what they decide to do with other players like Michael Brantley and players like that who you don't know what you're going to go with that extra pitcher. You want an extra bat or you want an extra utility guy. I think he hasn't done enough this season based on the rest of the pitching staff to earn that spot if it's going to bump somebody else out. But I mean, that's a nice problem to have. Again, aren't these great problems to have, whether or not you want Salazar in there?
Let me say this. He's a live arm, folks, and he's going to come out of the bullpen and pitch an inning or two. What a luxury to have a guy like that you're going to just throw into your bullpen. This is the deepest Indians pitching staff I have ever seen.
Now we're moving Clevenger over to the bullpen, too.
Right.
I mean, that's, again, these are starters. He's got 13 wins as a starter this season, and we're just like, try your hand in that bullpen 3 games out of the season.
102 wins, and we still really don't know what the outfield is going to look like. You know, Michael Brantley came back over the weekend. He has been sidelined with an injured right ankle since August, but was back at the plate last night. Mike, is he on this roster? I think he is.
I think that they're going to have a hard time justifying that.
Really?
He's been down 2 times with the same injury this year, and yeah, I mean he got his hit last night. He didn't get. I don't think he got a hit today in a pinch hitting, but we haven't seen enough of him. And these are crucial decisions. I hate to say this, but I mean, is he the most valuable person? You got to go in this saying, I don't care about sentimentality. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the history. Who can help this team the most in the postseason? And I don't know if he can make it.
Well, there's another guy, though, off the bench who can give you a quality at bat. I think he's going to make it. And to your point about sentimentality, I think the Indians are rewarding him. Folks, don't forget, he didn't get to go to the postseason last year. He got injured again this year. He didn't complain. He's coming back. I agree with you, though. Terry's the best manager in the major leagues. He's only going to take people that will help him win. So they think they'll help him win. Yeah. Right. What about Jason Kipnis in center field?
I don't have any issues with it. Again, we were talking about this. It's an embarrassment of riches, and it's a nice problem to have. And you know, if worse comes to worse, you have a great pinch hitter there. And so I hope he does play center field. I hope he gets some time in the outfield and whatnot, because that means he's playing more. But you got to take him, obviously, and he's going to be helpful in the postseason one way or the other.
Well, you heard Terry Francona earlier say it took a while for this team to gel. But once they did, they did. And we were asked, like, if there's a moment from the regular season. Right. Folks, obviously winning 22 games and setting the major league record was spectacular. But I remember the at-bat Francisco Lindor had in the game where he was down to his last strike and the Indians were down a run. He doubled to tie the game, and then Jay Bruce won the game in the very next at-bat. I think that was the point right there where the Indians realized they were a team of destiny.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that was a great play. I do think that I was at Win 100 just recently, and the vibe in that place when they won that 100th game and became a part of history. Right. I mean, that's a very rare feat for a team to do that. And they became a part of history, and that sign went up, and it went up on the sign that said 100 wins, and everybody's getting their picture near it and everything. And the players came out and took a bow and everything. I mean, that was a special moment too.
Been a great year, but folks, the best is yet to come. All right, don't go anywhere. Get ready for are you ready for Thursday?
I'm ready for Thursday.
Are you going?
No.
I'll see what I can do.
You can make it happen?
I'll see.
I'd love it if you would.
Actually, I have no connections. Coming up, what in the world is Mike up to now? Get ready, Indians fans. And yeah, we'll eventually talk Browns, so stay with us. Hey now, welcome back everybody to the Rizzo Show. Tony and Michael with you. Well, Michael, first of all, you know my nickname is Riz, which is just short for my last name. Do you have a nickname?
According to Twitter, yeah.
What?
It's either D-bag or cuck. I'm one of the two. Those are the two I get the most.
You did nickname Brown Stadium.
Well, yeah.
And people have ripped you off ever
Seems to have
since.
stuck a little bit.
Yeah, right. The Factory of Seven.
Sure.
I understand you went to Progressive Field and talked to some Tribe fans.
As you recall, the Indians had their nicknames on their jerseys in honor of the Little League World Series earlier in the season. And I wanted to see if Indians fans, these real Indians fans at the game, knew the Indians players' nicknames. Take a look. Indian fever, ba-bump-bump. Remember back in the middle of the summer when the Indians had their nicknames on the back of their jerseys? The nicknames that they got to choose themselves. Some of them were great, some were terrible. Regardless, I'm going to ask these Indians fans if they know these Indians nicknames. I'm going to give you the names of some of these Indians players' nicknames, and you tell me which Indians player had this nickname. Right. You think you're going to be good at this?
No, not at all. I don't know half the guys on our team.
Scrubs.
Can you spell that?
Sure. What is this, like a spelling bee? Ramirez.
Ramirez?
Yes, it was Jose Ramirez, correct. That's the name that Jose Ramirez chose. What an original guy he was, right?
Really awesome, pretty awesome.
Okay. E.E. Who on our team has the initial? I'll make it easier. Who?
Carcion.
Go ahead, I want to hear you say the whole name. First name and last name.
Public school.
Oh, I'm going to take Carcion. Yes. Go ahead. Enrique Carcion. Very close. We'll take it. That is an elegant looking meal you prepared for yourself at 11 a.m. in the morning. And a drink. Yeah. Man, you got it all. Scrubs.
No clue.
That's okay. Geek.
Nope.
That's all right. Sidewinder.
Nope.
Ramirez.
Nope.
Really? Really? Okay. Power outage.
Travis.
Travis Bauer. That's her guess.
Sounds good.
All right, you're both close. Sally.
Hanson.
Sally is a pitcher. It's in the beginning. Yes, Salazar. Very good. Crushing it. See, she's really carrying the weight right now. Slam Tana. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's Carlos Santana. I could see how that would trip you up.
Maybe it was the Great Lakes.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Mr. Smile.
Lindor.
Yes, Lindor! Thank God! Oh, it was pulling teeth. Thank you. Gomer. I'll give her an easier one. Hold on. It's got to be an easier one. Okay, I got it. This is an easier one. Kloobs. Who is it?
Kluber?
Yes! He chose the nickname Kloobs.
Okay.
For any of you who think that he's a bit stiff, you're wrong. He chose that wacky name. Well, there you have it, folks. Some people know the nicknames of the Indians, and many people don't. I think we really did some important scientific work here today. Back to us.
I love Back to Us. Where did you find those people? Pittsburgh? They were petrified of you.
And they were at the Indians game, and I just don't understand. You know what? I think the fair weather fans are starting to come out a little bit.
Well,
between me, you, and the lamppost.
They're not going to be able to get into the playoff games, so don't worry about that. All right, switching gears. How about the King? Folks, LeBron James, quick note, he missed his second straight practice with a sprained left ankle. Now, he was in a walking boot for a while. That is off. He will sit out the wine and gold scrimmage tomorrow night. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But the Cavaliers don't seem really concerned. I'm always concerned with LeBron. I want him to be indestructible.
He could play if he wanted to. Who cares? He's a monster.
Cavaliers have 5 preseason games before the regular season begins. The first one coming up on Wednesday. The Cavs season is starting.
That's nuts. And this preseason will actually be more interesting than most basketball preseasons, which are not interesting, because you get to see at least a hint of what that rotation is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an interesting balance that he has to do, Ty Lue has to figure out.
A lot of new faces. Yeah. Coming up. All right, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going down with the Browns. Folks, embarrassed today at the Factory of Sadness. Whoa, wouldn't want to be that guy. Stay with us. Why are they my Browns? Everybody in the control room. By the way, welcome John back. He was on a European vacation.
And he deserved it.
Our director,
John. It's been almost 2 weeks since his last vacation, our director.
Welcome back. Folks, Hugh Jackson is a good man, but he is 1-19 after 20 games of coaching the Browns. The Browns looking for that elusive second win in 2 years, Michael. Quarterback Deshaun Kaiser today had no chance, folks. The drop passes. Look, I'm not gonna go on a rant, Michael, let's face it. The Browns aren't good enough to beat anyone right now.
No.
Jamie Collins, Myles Garrett, Danny Shelton were all out on defense.
Doesn't help.
The Bengals made Greg Williams look like the nutty professor today.
Yep.
And Hughes' offense cannot do anything because they don't have anyone other than Duke Johnson to catch the football. Michael, we were embarrassed today, and I want to apologize to my 3 children who were at the game that I got tickets for this game. I'm sorry you had to see that.
I was there.
Your
you
dad loves you.
To me as well?
No, you're old enough to make your own decisions.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Here is frustrated head coach Hugh Jackson after the game.
We didn't play well. I mean, we didn't play well anywhere. We didn't coach well. We didn't play well. We didn't do anything well. So, again, Cincinnati had a lot to do with that. We did not play as well as I think our football team can play.
Oh, wow. Bold words. You know, that's what he gets paid for. Not for coaching. It's for that terrible press conference he has to hold afterwards every time. That's where he earns his money.
Speaking of Hugh, it was reported today that Browns owner Jimmy Haslam had a conference call with his scouts and the entire coaching staff as a vote of confidence. How did that work out?
I'm sure it worked great.
Folks, changes are coming, all right? I don't want to be this guy right now. Jimmy Haslam has some very difficult decisions to make. Okay, because things cannot keep going the way they're going.
No.
There's going to be a faction of people going, you can't blow it up again. Well, then what do you want to do? Go 1-40? I mean, Michael, at what point do you say, look, this isn't working. We need to change things up?
And here's what people have to remember. We keep staying on this number 1-19, 1-19, and that's terrible. But that's just as long as they've been here. We've been here longer than that.
Yeah.
And just because they only got here 2 years ago doesn't mean we haven't been here forever. They don't take that into consideration.
Yeah.
We've been watching this terrible product for so long. They won 3 games the year before Hugh got here. So it's 32 now for us over the last 3 years. And if you go back further, it gets sadder and sadder. And eventually something's got to give.
Let's take a look at Rizzy's recap today. Number one, Michael, I could argue the Browns are getting worse. Yeah. They're not getting better. They played their best game in the first week of the season.
Yeah, I know.
Today was their worst. Also, it is a new low. Is it never 1-19? Come on, we've never been 1-19.
No.
This is the lowest. Folks, it's the lowest point in the history of the franchise. And Haslam's decisions. Who stays, who goes. I don't think anybody leaves before this season's over, although if the Jets come in here next Sunday, folks, and Josh McCown, who went 1-9 at that stadium, actually went 1-9, didn't win a game at that stadium, if they come in here and win, anything is possible.
It makes no sense to fire anybody at any point in this season because it's not going to make the team better, and all it's going to do is make a couple of people on Twitter who are angry a little bit less angry, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. That's it. But it is terrible. Absolutely terrible. What's this do to the mentality and the psychology? We're the youngest team in the league. What does this do to these young players who are just like they've only experienced winning? They won in college.
I'm gonna go half full here. If somebody else comes in, you have a decent roster. You got a decent young quarterback, some talent on defense, and an offensive line. I'm telling you, this team should be playing a lot better than they are. Coming up, we'll open up the Rizzy Vault. Thank goodness for the Tribe.
God bless you.
This is What's Up at the Rocksino. It's a graveyard smash during our $250,000 trick-or-treat giveaway. Every Saturday in October, Rockstar Rewards members get Mally's chocolate bars for free between 10 and 8. Choose your favorite Mally's candy bar. Unwrap and reveal a golden ticket to win up to $25,000 in cash, free play, gifts, and food credits. With over $60,000 in prizes each week, winning never tasted so good. Celebrate this season with our classic clam bake in the Fresh Harvest Buffet. Every Friday from 4 to 8. Only $29.99 with your Rockstar Rewards card. And be sure to stop by the Hard Rock Cafe 2 to 6 p.m. Sunday through Thursday for our new happy hour specials. Get ready to laugh with Ramon Rivas in Club Velvet this Friday and Saturday night. Don't miss an evening with Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul in Hard Rock Live on Friday, October 6th. Tickets on sale at the Rocksino box office at Ticketmaster.com. Find your rhythm at the Hard Rock Rocksino Northfield Park, Vegas Experience, Ohio address.
Hey, don't forget, our good friends Big Chuck and Little John are coming up. Folks, it's time to open up the Rizzy Vault, and with the Indians beginning the postseason on Thursday, let's go back to, Game 7 against the Cubs. Who could ever forget this home run?
I'm glad we didn't show the rest of that. That was amazing.
Oh, the game didn't end there?
No.
After Raji?
In my mind, it did.
I've never heard the stadium louder.
Nope,
I've never heard Jacobs Field, Progressive Field, anything you want to call it, that's never been louder.
I really remember looking over. I was there with a couple of friends, and once he hit that, I looked over and I was just like, and they couldn't even hear me. It was just like a wall of sound. I was like,
yeah, it was unbelievable. We're going to have more of those moments, folks. Get ready. Get ready for the postseason, all right? That's going to do it for us. Did you plugs?
Sure. I'm in Akron with Artie Lang next week.
Oh!
From the Stern Show.
Say hi to Artie. I love Artie.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Good to be alive. Good night, everybody.
Good night.